Welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. This is the BYRNA CL versus a pop can. This is a Diet Coke, caffeine free. It's empty. We're gonna use the kinetic rounds. This CL, it holds 5. Distance, 10 feet. All right, there's the entry, there's the exit. Let's try on the bottom here. All right, that one went right through the bottom. And as you can see, it exited right out the top opening there, just kind of flared it out just a bit. Let's try a full can, see what that does. Once again, caffeine-free Diet Coke. This can is full. 10 feet. All right, and there is the result. Let's try something else. Leftover Halloween pumpkin. And by the way, we have fired 3 shots so far with the BYRNA CL. This will be the 4th and 5th shot. All the same CO2 cartridge. I pulled my 2nd shot there, but they definitely penetrated. However, as you can see on the back side here, they did not exit the pumpkin. Now, why am I showing you all this? Well, a few weeks ago, Levi and I went to a local shop, and they are a BYRNA dealer. Levi knows the owner. It was the first time I met him. Super nice guy. His name is Pat. And we got to test out several different BYRNA models, and I ended up purchasing the CL. Well, while I was there, we did a video, and I published that video, and 9 times out of 10, I know what the comments are going to be like, and this was no exception. The firearms community, which I am a member of, no family's perfect, you know? It's probably hard to find a perfect family, but as long as they are united, everything is good. And the firearms community really isn't united. I mean, did you ever see when somebody calls a magazine a clip? People lose their minds over that, and they'll let them know in the comments. Nobody did that in my video, but that's just an example. And a lot of guys are set in their ways, and the comments on this purchase, I'd say we're right down the middle, 50-50. Half the people thought definitely a use for one of these, the other half thought not so much. I mean, you would have thought by some of the comments that all the members of SEAL Team 6 through 60 were watching our video. And some of the guys, you swear they just walked in from the OK Corral. You know, you would read comments like, if someone come looking for trouble, me and my Smith are going to give it to them, you know, or I'd rather be judged by 12 than carried by 6. I saw that comment quite a bit. One guy, matter of fact, he would have rather been judged by 6 and carried by 12. He must be a very large man. But anyway, the point of this is just another option. You know, think of it this way. This is my little runaround car. This is a 2016 Subaru Crosstrek with, I don't know, 130, 140,000 miles. Now this is my 24 Ford F600. Now, believe it or not, there's a lot of similarities between this truck and that Subaru. You know, there's like a lot of overlap between the two. They both do a lot of the same things. They both got tires. They both have seats, engines, steering wheels, turn signals. They're pretty similar in a lot of ways. However, if I need to haul 6 tons of rock, I'm going to take the F600. If I'm going to run the Huntman to Sheets for a chicken sandwich, I'm going to take the Blue Roo. Now, in my opinion, I think the same kind of thing applies between a BYRNA and a regular firearm. There's a lot of similarities between the two, but they are two totally different things. This is non-lethal, where a firearm is lethal. You know, I think a lot of people have in their head exactly how they're going to react in a life or death situation. You know, I have fortunately never been in a situation like that. I mean, I've been in some sketchy situations, but never like a gunfight or anything like that. And I think people have in their head how they're going to react, but the truth of the matter is nobody knows how they're going to react until they're put into that situation. And I'll give you an example. Well, sort of an example. I used to do 3-gun shoots where you'd shoot a pistol, shotgun, and like an AR, and you'd go through different stages, and it was timed, and it was a lot of fun. And I didn't do it a lot, maybe 12 or 15 of them over the years. And I used to practice quite a bit, like especially with the handgun. And one of the stations, there'd be those 6 plates that you'd have to knock down as fast as you could. And I used a Smith, I gotta make sure I say this right or everyone will attack me in the comments. It was the M&P Pro, the big one, in a 40. I like the 40 because the heavier bullet, if you just caught a piece of that steel, it would knock the plate over, where the 9 wouldn't always do that. So although I had a little bit less capacity, I like the heavier bullet. But anyway, I would shoot those plates. I'd go up there and practice. And I mean, I was like a machine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could knock those things down. You would go to a friendly competition with other guys that you hang out with or you saw the month before. And just when they put that buzzer in your ear to start, you'd miss like 2 of them. Just something that simple, putting a little bit of pressure on you, changes everything. And that is nothing compared to the real thing. I think a lot of people, and this will offend some people, they talk a big game, but how many people actually train with their firearm? I know some guys do, but I would be willing to bet the overwhelming majority of firearm owners don't train on a weekly basis for something bad to happen. And I just don't see it. I mean, I don't hear gunfire. You know, we live in a rural area and we hear people shoot. Usually right before deer season is when you hear people sighting in their rifles, and that's about it, you know. And I know there's gun clubs and there's some guys that do, but there's a lot of firearm owners out there that think they have it all figured out, and I don't think they're really trained for anything. They just have in their head that they can get through a situation like that. As far as the BYRNA goes, like I said, I don't consider this a replacement for a firearm at all. But reading through some of the comments from people, they're very oversimplistic. Like, you know, I would rather, if someone breaks into my house, I said the same thing. If someone is trying to enter my home in the middle of the night, I am not reaching for the BYRNA. However, what you have to consider is there's a lot of places in this country where the firearm that you speak about, if you take it there, you're committing a felony. And unfortunately, there's a lot of areas of this country that the judicial system in that area is probably a bigger threat to you than the bad guy, you know? I could think, I guess everybody just thinks differently, but I could think of hundreds of uses for this just off the top of my head. Say you live in a nice neighborhood, you don't have any trouble, you know? Say you got your BYRNA with you and you're walking your dog, and some dog that you've never seen before comes over and is trying to attack you and your dog. You're in a neighborhood, in your housing plan, or you're walking through a school zone, for example. If you pull out a firearm and take care of that situation, you're probably going to be arrested for having that gun in a school zone, you know? You wouldn't be with this. You'd light that dog up, he'd be whimpering, running away, and that would be the end of it. These shoot kinetic rounds, or the pepper balls. You can go back and watch that whole video. We went through everything on that video. Say there's a clearly intoxicated, unarmed man harassing you and your spouse. You can't just do the guy in. You're gonna go to jail. You know what I mean? BYRNA. I could think of, I carry both now. I have both in my vehicle. I got one of these for daughter Eva because she's not old enough to carry yet. You have to be 21 in Pennsylvania. And I'm getting her one as well. She's coming back from school this weekend, and we're gonna practice with it. And these are very simple. There's no safety on it. One thing that a lot of people ask, the CO2 cartridge, when you put it in, well, to put it in, all you do, you unscrew this, put it in. On the back of the magazine, there's like a little Allen key, tighten it a quarter turn. It does not puncture the CO2 cartridge until you fire the first shot, till you pull the trigger. So you don't have to worry about it bleeding off over time. What else? Yeah, a lot of people asked about that. And having no safety on it, this is just point and pull the trigger. And the trigger pull is takes a little getting used to. So like anything else, you're gonna wanna train with it. You don't wanna just buy one, put a cartridge in it, and think you're good to go. But it gives you an alternative, is all it does. And you know, full disclosure here, I got nothing in this. I'll tell you how this all went down and what happened since I published that video. That video kind of took off. It's 350,000 views or something. And I put a link in that video to Pat's store. And I'm gonna do that again in this video. If anyone wants one, they can get one from Pat. You can call him, he'll answer all your questions on which model's best for you. Or if you're local, you can go into his store, you can try them out, whatever you wanna do. But anyway, full disclosure, I bought this like anybody else would, but after that video published, there's, like I said, over 350,000 views. BYRNA, the company, they reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to participate in their affiliate program. And what that means is I would provide a link and I would get a small commission on each sale. I actually declined that offer, not because I don't like the product or anything like that. I just kind of wanted to remain independent. Like everything I'm telling you is just my opinion. I got nothing in it. And I also want to support small business, which is Pat's shop. And like I said, if you're local, it's best just to go in, try one out, see what you think, and you can test fire it. He'll answer all your questions. If not, you can just order it online from Pat. But I would rather support small business and just kind of remain, I got nothing in it, is what I'm telling you. So there's no affiliate link. I don't get any money for this at all. I'm just passing along the information. But like I said, the comments, it's what I expected. I just didn't expect to be that many of them. And I don't mean to talk badly about anyone. Like I said, the firearms community is a community, and we have to stick together. You know, like I said, if somebody calls a magazine a clip, people just attack them. My father was in the military. He was a firearms collector. And I think he actually called it a clip, not a magazine. Who cares? You know what I mean? I don't care. Different words have different meanings to different people. Some words have two meanings. Like I use the word jag. Jag could be a big load of firewood. That's a nice jag of wood. Jag could also be some of the people that leave nasty comments. You know what I'm saying? Same word, different applications. Before we wrap this up though, let's try something else with this BYRNA CL. Oh, and by the way, a lot of people in the comments said it would be like getting hit with a paintball. It is nothing like getting hit with a paintball. I have been hit by numerous paintballs. We used to play that hard back in the day. Matter of fact, the end of this video, I have a fantastic paintball story for you. But let's try this out on something. Woodmizer bandsaw blade box. That's a heavy duty box right there. It should rip through both sides, no problem. Pumpkin. Yeah, right through both sides. Did some more damage to the pumpkin as well. Oh, so before I forget, like I said, I'll put a link to Pat's store in the description. I'll pin a comment as well. He ships all over the place. If you want a BYRNA, like I said, I got nothing in it. I'm not getting a commission or anything like that. So check that out. But I got the great paintball story for you. We used to play, we were pretty hardcore back in the day. So this would have been, I'm 59 years old, so probably in my early 20s, something like that. And it's when paintball first started to become kind of popular. And it was taking off pretty fast. And it was great back then because you had the old Tipmans that were like pump action, and there was strategy and teamwork involved. And then the paintball guns start evolving into these crazy semis that it was just turned into who could shoot the most paint. And that's when we kind of lost interest. We liked it early on. And plus, you know, you got married, started having kids, but it was fun back then. So one time we would go to tournaments and things like that, but we'd also play right here in these woods. Not here. I didn't own this property yet, but I used to live down where my sister lives now. That was the old homestead, and then we bought this property later on. But that was my grandma's place, and there's an old chicken coop up there. And we had this one game set up. You might have like a dozen guys out there playing paintball. And we would put like 3 or 4 people in the chicken coop, and the other 7 or 8 or whatever would have to attack it, but they had to come from the front, right? That was the rules. So we had like barricades and things to hide from in the field out in front of the chicken coop. So in between games, everybody's standing over there BSing, talking about nothing. And I kind of walk over to the chicken coop, and out in front of it, about 15, 20 yards, we had a piece of plywood just leaned up against 2 2x4s. We drove into the ground, and that was like a barricade for people to hide behind. While they weren't paying attention, I go up there, and I was a blaster back then. I blew stuff up for a living. I didn't do anything like that, but I had some shot wire. It's just duplex wire. I hooked it on a nail on that piece of plywood, and I can't believe nobody didn't see me. They're only 75 feet away. I walked that wire out up in through the floor of the chicken coop and just left it lay there. And then it was my turn to go in the coop. So there's me and a couple other buddies in there. The game starts, and I'm like, just let them come in. Let them come in. And I mean, the paintballs are just, because there's big windows and we're crouched down, they're hitting, and they're trying to move forward to get close enough to just reach up into the chicken coop. Well, this one guy, he makes a break for it. He dives behind that piece of plywood. And then I told my buddies what I did, you know. I'm like, you ready? They're like, yep. I yank on that piece of wire, and I'm like, now. And we pop our heads up, and this guy, Steve, he's hunkered down behind that plywood. He never even knew it hit the ground because he's looking straight down, and the plywood just goes poof. And all you could see is like the top of his head and his back. And we just lit him up. He did. So between games, pay attention. That's the lesson to be learned from that. But anyway, I've been rambling on long enough. I appreciate y'all being here. I really do. And I will catch you on the next one.